G'day there everyone, and today we're going to be talking about this deadly system that I use for beginners. Now in this position we see I'm playing white and I trot out the trusty e3. Now it's a good surprise move, and if they play e5 I'm trying to get a bit of a reverse French here, and we can see now I've got the typical sort of queen's pawn ideas, and I'm not afraid of the isolated pawn or playing against the isolated pawn, either way. And so we see a beginner mistake. The queen plays out, taking the square for the knight. I respond with my knight and rebalancing the center, and so I get my bishop in the most active square. Fantastic. Where's the queen going to go? In a typical sort of game, we see beginners make this mistake of playing early with their queen all the time. So just going to play conservative, develop another piece. Everything's secure. In this game, I don't actually... so moving the same piece twice in the opening again, the queen comes down again. Easily defended. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, you never move the EF pawn. It's a crazy idea. What are you doing? Okay, so now I'm going to defend that queen pawn again, centralize the bishop. It does congest the E file. I was a bit concerned about that, but the free flowingness of the position. Oh, another mistake. Knight on the rim is dim. So how am I going to respond? I've got the discovered attack by moving my knight, but I don't quite get enough bang for that buck, if you know what I mean. I don't quite get enough for the discovered attack, so I'm just going to ruin the structure. Boom. And now I'm not afraid of the half open file down onto my king, and I've still got that gun loaded, locked on against his queen. So now I'm trying to encourage him to make a mistake, which is to move the knight. Okay, threatening checkmate. We saw this coming. There we go. In this position now, I've got weak white squares around my king. That is an issue. But let's see if I provoke the beginner into making a mistake. Yes. Okay, here we go. So just checking there's no little cheeky checks. Boom. So, yeah, saves the queen. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to just run away with my free piece. I like free pieces, that's good. Now, can I get more? With a check? Nah. I considered the check with the bishop. But no, I like this. I like this alignment with the knight, where it can go, how it can help fortify my light squares. Just in general, I really like this. I've got a piece. This move doesn't really address the king is in the center. The king is in the center. Okay, so where's my knight going? Is it really attacking the queen? Is it really defending, or is it looking at e6 right in front of the king there? Absolutely. Now that knight is not defended. It's very important to realize, because that pawn is pinned. It's not defended. So now my knight is under threat with the queen to f5. So what am I gonna do? Buckle my shoe. Alright, of course I'm gonna try and get rid of that light squared bishop, even if it costs me a pawn. That's their the only good bishop, the only good piece. The other dark square bishop looks rubbish, and I just want to get rid of any dangers to my king, because my light squares are a bit soft, and now their light squares are very soft, very tender and juicy. So what am I gonna do? I think, yep, I think the castling was inevitable. And I think that I should just take a pawn, take a breath. I'm definitely looking at knight c3 as one of the moves. I'm also looking at bishop to f3, rook to e1. Okay, now developing the knight, it just makes sense. It's a good, solid developing move, but I see a really good active plan for myself. And finally, my bishop is now helping to defend those light squares. See, that queen move, it's not really doing anything, particularly now with my bishop at f3. It's actually abandoned the center. So moving into the weakness of the last move, now we can see I'm attacking that loose rook at g8. And I'm also connecting on those weak light squares. That move does not stop the pressure down the light squares. So here we go. Let's start the king hunt on the light squares. Now bishop f3 is looking really good. Alright, that king is not feeling, he's feeling a lot of air. Now obviously if the rook blocks, I can check, and the king has to move, and then I can take the rook with the bishop. But I'm looking for bigger fish. Bigger fish. You know, I'm looking for, you know, I'm a big game hunter right now. I'm looking at that alignment between the king and the queen. You see that misalignment? Let's see how it goes. Now I could just take the rook. The rook's good, but I'm after much bigger fish. There we go. It's not looking healthy. And now dominating those light squares has all paid off. Getting rid of that light squared bishop has paid off. And obviously he resigns. I say bye. And then it's all she wrote. So, you know, what we can see here is just basic principles, basic ideas, you know, and nothing fancy, nothing complicated. This deadly system is the French for black, and for white it's the unusual transpositional move E3. It throws them off completely, and it gives you a solid start to the game as a beginner, and it teaches you how to deal with queen pawn sort of positions, isolated queen pawn, you know, dynamic pawns, you know, in the center. It teaches you these things, and if you remember these principles, you'll do really well. All right, take care. Bye.